Men following, women leading, men dancing with men, women dancing with women. What's going on in the country dancing and West Coast swing dance world? My name is Gilbert. This is Damon right here with D'Amico Dance, and we're shooting episode 7 of Swing to the Rhythm. You definitely want to stay tuned here for this episode because we're going to share with you our opinion about the current state of dancing, both in West Coast swing and in country western dancing. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Again, my name is Gilbert, this is Damon. We are one of the only country western and West Coast swing shows on all of YouTube and on the internet discussing current and past trends of these two very popular dances. And again, thank you for tuning in. As mentioned, we're seeing a change in the country western and West Coast swing world, where we're noticing a lot of people, and I'm saying a lot of up and coming dancers, but also a lot of higher level dancers, they're interested in shifting roles, meaning that they're shifting to follow if they lead, or they're shifting to lead if they follow. So we're seeing a lot of blurred roles in the dance world. And Damon and I here are here to discuss our thoughts on that, and also how that shift occurred, because it wasn't always like this. Of course, you and I, we do dance a lot, and we go out into the dance scene in Houston. Let's describe to the viewer what we're currently seeing with state of dancing.
I guess seeing more of, right? We've done some posts lately. If you follow our Facebook page, you've been seeing some of our posts. We have some opinions about how we feel about degendering of dance. We're not necessarily in agreement with it. Your opinion is going to differ from mine, a little bit. We're just seeing more of it, and it's more of a fad and a trend, I think, right now. And could it stick? Sure, it could stick. I always think of things more like as a business. I always have. What's good for business? What's good for the masses? I don't want to necessarily exclude anyone, and the bottom line is, and this episode is certainly going to be quite controversial. Sure. We're going to get a lot of people attacking us in the comment section.
We already have.
Right, and and what y'all should know is, it's not that we don't value your opinions or anything, but we're way too thick-skinned to be bothered by what you have to say. I mean, we sit back and laugh at the most outspoken ones of you because you're just off the chain. And so, say all you want, act all you want, whatever. I don't ever see you acting that way in public, like when you're in my face. I've noticed that. I'm not trying to start a fight. It's just our opinion. And what I've found lately is that if you have an opinion other than the people who are pushing for this degendering of dance, which is really basically a dumb term to begin with, in my opinion. If you want to follow, fine. If you want to leave, called degendering dance, it's ridiculous. That's absolutely ludicrous. And I'm not down with that. I'm not down with the term. I'm not down with them feeling like, you out there feeling like that your opinion weighs more than the masses, because by and large, the masses do not agree with you. And that's where I go back to the business aspect of it. So all I know is I've been teaching dance for 40 years now, and I do both roles. I don't compete in both roles. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I'm not opposed to people competing in the other role. I'm not opposed to that. I don't agree with it in Jack and Jill. I think that the entire lot of dancers should be asked their opinion as to whether they want to dance with the same sex or they don't want to dance with the same sex. And it's a Jack and Jill, and you don't know who you're going to draw. So if anybody in the line says, I would prefer not dancing with the same sex, then it shouldn't be allowed in that division, because everybody paid for a weekend pass, paid for a hotel room, paid for airfare to get there. They're spending money to compete, and now they are somewhat at a disadvantage if they are dancing with the same sex. There's no doubt about it. And in some cases these days are at an advantage when they're dancing with the same sex, because a lot of times people dancing the other role are being rewarded for subpar dancing over people who actually deserve the placement simply because they are the other sex. So it's leaning that way a little bit, because most everybody's afraid to speak out where we are not, and so they feel like they're going to get canceled or whatever, and we're not cancelable, and so we're just not. And so, but this is such a touchy subject and deep, and of course, again, we're going to ruffle some feathers, and we're totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I would just hope that the people out there, realize that there is a different dynamic. There's a different dynamic. If you want to dance in strictly swing, you get to choose your own partner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for you dancing same sex. I don't care. Dance same sex. If you're a pro out there, I've got a good friend, Raquel Nelson Reynolds. And, yeah, and she's dancing country, and there's not a country male pro around her area. She loves to teach dance, has a bunch of students that want to compete, and they're signing up to dance with these ladies are signing up to dance with their female pro. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, it's a competition where you sign up with same sex. So some of the people in the comment section are leaning towards calling us homophobic or whatever else. It has zero to do with that. I don't care. I teach a whole bunch of lessons here throughout the week. You're here, you witness it. Sure. With male students. I follow fluently in about 20 different dance styles. I'm not competing with my male students because they have females that they can compete with. You know what I mean? If my male students did not have somebody to do that with, again, they signed up to dance with their male teacher. And so I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to doing that. But if there's an option for them to dance with the opposite sex, then I'm all about them doing that. So it kind of negates all the comments out there acting like we're homophobic or something, whatever it is that they're trying to call us, when we make comments like this or whatever. I just don't think it belongs in Jack and Jill unless everybody in the division agreed to dance with the same sex, and because you don't know who your partner is going to be, right? So we are seeing more of it. This brings up an entirely different aspect. We could do 12 episodes on this aspect of this conversation. When someone is a newcomer dancer or a novice dancer, it is 100% false that they are becoming a better dancer at their primary role by learning the other role. That is 100% false. They can't even grasp the concept of the dance at hand. So for people to pretend like they're doing it because they want to get better at the other role at those newcomer novice levels is a joke. That is a joke. Yeah. Even at a higher level, a lot of people can't do that. I mean, the number of people that can actually take the information and go, oh, I see where I'm messing up my whip lead right there because of the way I'm following this, or whatever, in West Coast Swing anyway. Can it happen? Yes, it can happen. Is there a percentage of newer people that are going to be able to grasp that difference? Yes, but all in all, how many people are actually hyper aware enough to realize that it's helping? So that part of it is just not true.
Seems like a misconception.
It is. It's a huge misconception. And because other people are doing it, well, of course, you go to a West Coast Swing event, you get all gussied up, you want to dance, and if you're dancing Jack and Jill, you dance one division. And so you dance for 2.5 minutes or whatever, and heated, you might dance 6 minutes, 9 minutes or whatever. But it's another opportunity to dance. So I think a lot of people are watching other people do the other role, and they're wanting to do it because they want to compete and they want to get out there and they want to do it. But again, going back to what I said earlier, when you have dudes out there that are following horrendously and stepping out on the wrong foot, it's a slap in the face to me. It's what it feels like. It's a slap in the face to the other dancers on the floor when they get rewarded and pushed through the finals because they were a dude following. It boils my blood a little bit, and the judges are to blame for that. And they're part of the problem, 100%. They're part of the problem. I don't care what sex you are, it's about a dance contest, and the best people should be making it through to the next round every single time. And yet we see guys out there following getting placements and vice versa. Girls out there leading, getting placements over dudes that are taking lessons and working on their dancing, and then they're coming out on the wrong foot and getting rewarded and going to semifinals, and somebody that paid all their money just like they did doesn't make it to semifinals. And so that's where the business part of it really starts to come into play for me. And the best dancing should always win. Period. It's a dance contest, and so it should be a matter of whatever categories that chief judge and that event director are talking about. Is it going to be just about showmanship, or is it going to be about technique, or is it going to be about timing and rhythm? Is it going to be about musicality? What are the different subcategories that we're rewarding people for? And the people that go to the final should be the people that overall on average do best in all 5 categories, not in one particular category. you know. And right now we're seeing a whole lot of confidence being rewarded even when the basics aren't really good.
Yeah.
And
Or they're
so,
having more fun
and
and
they don't
they
even
show
realize, you know, these judges that are rewarding this and these events that are rewarding this behavior don't even realize, because they're not giving it any forethought, that they're killing the dance as a business. And then you've got grassroots people that are making their living, putting the mass of the bodies out there in competition, and their students aren't doing as well because they're actually focused on learning the foundation of the dance, and then people are getting out there shaking their butt and talking on the phone when it says, call me, and they're getting a placement over people that have good quality movement and actual foundation. And that's what aggravates me really the most. I'm not saying that that's always happening.
Sure.
I'm saying it's happening more and more all the time. And the farther we go down this path, the more that's happening when it comes to same gender, you know, dancing. You know, also, you know, it's like, there is nothing wrong with traditional roles, and if you believe there's nothing wrong with traditional roles, we'd appreciate it if you like the video. We would appreciate it if you say something. You know, I mean, what are you afraid of exactly? Do we have to go so far the other way that we've all lost our minds? Is that really what it takes? Do we all have to bend the knee to the loudest people in the room, even though they're the vast minority? Do we really have to bend the knee? And the other thing, while it's fresh on my brain,
Sure.
you know, a lot of these people in our comment section that are saying, I'm wrong, and we shouldn't act that way, and that's an old way of thinking. No, it's not an old way of thinking. What the hell's the matter with you? It's not an old way of thinking. There is nothing wrong with men and women and masculine and feminine energy, as long as it's healthy. Masculine and feminine energy. Nobody wants toxic male energy. Nobody wants toxic female energy. What we want is healthy male and female roles. That's what we want.
Yeah.
You know, so for us to act like it's the same when we watch two dudes dance together, or it's the same when we watch two women dance together, it's not the same. And there's nothing wrong with traditional roles, and I won't apologize for it. You know, and so if you agree, then we would appreciate it if you would speak up and stop being so quiet while we let everything that we know around us fall apart and go down the drain. You know, again, this is only talking about Jack and Jill. So all of you getting your feathers ruffled and texting all your friends to jump on my thread and give us a negative comment, do you think we care? We don't care. Thanks for the view, and thanks for the comment, because you're helping us get paid.
Well, like you said, they are outspoken and
Extremely outspoken. And they're the same ones that are complaining in the hotel room. I'm around people all the time that act like all this is okay. And then they don't get a placement. And then they're up in the hotel room complaining that some dude that steps out on the wrong foot took a placement from them, and they're the same one in front of everybody else. So it's a bunch of virtue signaling going on. Is what's actually happening. You got me fired up.
Good.
You got me riled up, dude. This riles me up.
I can feel my adrenaline pumping too.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. It riles me up, and if you don't like it, I don't really care if you don't like it.
Well, it's a combination of a number of things. You said the business aspect, you said the competition aspect, you said the Jack and Jill aspect. What I noticed is that when I started dancing 12 years ago, it wasn't like this. In a very short amount of time, within the last couple of years, meaning like the last 5 to 7 years, competitively, we've seen this really explode in popularity and people wanting to try the other role because, for whatever reason, because they have to make a political statement or because they want to
Typically.
have fun or, it could be a range of things, and
Right.
that's also at play too, politics. And then I also see it as a hobby that does involve the opposite sex, and it's very clear there's a man dancing, there's a woman
And
dancing.
it's nice.
And it's
and
nice.
It's nice, and that's why a lot of dudes are drawn to dance to begin with.
That's
Which
why
one of the things I was going to say earlier is like, because we've been so much in the country bars, right? And the country bars are typically not known for a whole bunch of same-sex dancing.
Not at
You know
all.
what I'm saying? Unless you're going to a club that's known for that, which is totally fine if that suits you. We don't care about that either. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But how many times have we heard or we feel that young men already feel funny about dancing, and so we've been trying to do is get more men into the dance of
More
sport.
talented, masculine men.
Well, and even if they're not masculine, but right, I agree. But even if they're not masculine, we've been trying to get more participation, and we've been very successful in doing that. I mean, we had 75 people in Monday night class, and we had 2 extra follows. How many communities are almost even
At that
male to female ratio in class where you have a male to dance with or a female to dance with? So we've been building this thing and making it a comfortable place for guys that otherwise would have thought that dancing might be sissy or girly or whatever, and that they just that's how they feel. They were not comfortable in their own skin dancing. That's not something that a lot of young men grow up feeling comfortable doing. They're playing sports and doing whatever. You know, not that they have to stay in those roles, but that by and large, that's what's happening, the majority.
Yeah.
And then the first thing they do, they step into a country bar, and now there's dudes dancing together everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think that guy signs up for class? I mean, honestly. And some of you out there are going to go, absolutely they do. It shouldn't matter. You're a liar. And you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to everybody else, because that is not how the entire world feels. You know, it's like, and so is that the case sometimes? Sure. But to act like that everybody's okay with that, they are not okay with that. You know, and so we get these young guys that would otherwise pick up dance as a hobby that are like, peace out, I'm out. We had that new gentleman recently, I won't say names, went out, and someone asked him to dance, and he was like, no, thank you.
Is this a mistake?
Yeah, no, thank you, or whatever. Yeah. And then he was kind of frowned upon by a couple of people. Yeah. He was brand new to our community, and he was frowned upon because he didn't want to dance with another dude. That is his prerogative. He does not have to dance with another dude.
Sure. And
he wasn't ugly. He declined graciously. But yet we're the bad guy because we don't want to dance with the same sex. Sure. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I turned down a guy at a competition, and I told him, he asked me to social dance. I told him no, and he did not like my response.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you well enough to know that you weren't ugly when you said no.
I wasn't. I just said no,
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, and I will do it from time to time. I'll do it I'm a teacher. I dance the female part fluently. Good luck outdancing me as a female. Yeah. You know, but it's just like, still at the same time, you know, it's like it's the setting. And in a studio environment, I'm way more apt to dance if a guy asks me to dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of a country bar, I don't want to be a part of what makes some guys in there go, I'm not down. Yeah. It's a business decision for me.
Mm-hmm. Which we are running a business, and ultimately dancing again is our primary product and the service that we offer, group lessons. So right. I think that's also a valid consideration.
Sure.
To end the episode, where we're going in the future, and because you did say that a continuation of this, and it's already quite popular to switch roles and for competitions to really talk this up, and for social media videos posting this to generate interest and to generate views and likes and comments.
Right.
And as you said, even though the dancing may be bad, people are still celebrating in the comments.
I've seen some bad dancing and people celebrating in the comments just because they're same sex.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do we not? I mean, there are standards in everything we do, and all you people out there acting like, you know, that you're watching bad dancing and praising it because they're same sex, you're ridiculous. And if you watch Dancing with the Stars, you go, they're good, they're not good, and then the voting doesn't go the way you think it should, and we're outraged because we can see that's better dancing. But then we turn a blind eye on this particular sport. Or you watch people play bad basketball and good basketball, you're acting like you can't tell the difference.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't care what the topic is. Sure. Our brains, we have been geared towards excellence. It's like, this is this. And if it was in Strictly Swing, I watched that, there was two females dance together in a category recently that I saw. They were amazing. Mm-hmm. But they chose their own partner. It wasn't a Jack and Jill, but they did a cool routine. I'm like, sweet. Sure. That was great, and it was good leading, and it was good following, and they pulled it off. You know what I mean? But I mean, in large part, I can think of maybe 3 guys that I've seen on the internet that follow well enough to get that kind of street cred, and the rest of them are bad. And exceptionally bad, and don't have quality of movement and have ugly feet and legs, and we're just supposed to act like that's supposed to outweigh a female dancer on the ballot that's doing her own part and dancing attractively. I mean, I'm not down.
Yeah, and to talk about, we didn't even discuss, and I know we said it's the end of the episode, we didn't discuss the aesthetic of the dance. Where do we want the dance to go? And it seems like the outspoken
healthy masculine, healthy feminine roles.
And I don't think that conversation is being had.
And if you organizers and you judges and all you dancers out there that are screaming with your super cape on under your shirt and acting like everything should be degendered, then create another division. You want to fix it? create another division. Stop making people dance with the same sex that don't want to dance with the same sex. That is a mistake on your part, and you're not actually even allowed to force that on other people.
Look forward to the comments. Definitely voice your opinion. Again, as Damon said, if you agree, disagree, post it in the comments. We want to hear what you have to say. Like and subscribe. This is episode 7 of Swing to the Rhythm. And a quick shout out to Barbara Jesse over there in Houston, Texas.
Oh man, you can't do that.
Man, dude. Come on.
What am I supposed to say, man? Look sharp, man. Look sharp. And now, what I'm supposed to leave Nancy out? Thanks for my haircut, Nancy. Damn, you make me look bad, dog. Anyway, thanks, Gilbert. Appreciate it. Hey, love y'all out there. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Sometimes we're going to talk about some controversial issues like this. I think it needs to be talked about, and we want to open it up for people to talk about it. Some of you out there have been saying this. I get private messages all the time thanking me for doing this kind of thing. Stop being afraid, please, to put it in the comment section. The loudest people are the ones that are on the wrong side of most every single issue in the world today. So if you wouldn't mind, please, letting us know your thoughts, especially if you agree with what we have to say here today. And then also I want to talk about, we have a new master class for Inner West Coast Swing. If you want to become a really, really good West Coast Swing instructor that builds students from the ground up all the way through the champions divisions like we have here at D'Amico Dance, we have a brand new online course that we have released, and you should check that out. You can find that on our website at DamicoDance.com, or
I will make sure to add it into the link description here on YouTube.
31 lessons, in-depth lessons.
Brand new masterclass for anybody that wants to have a class of 70 students. Most people that we've had in a very long time.
Yeah, so if you dudes out there want to follow better, and you followers out there want to lead better, you should go ahead and buy this course.
Now's your chance. Have a good one, everybody.